This situation is completely insane, as the Toronto Raptors are reportedly from Shams Charania, part of a blockbuster trade that sent Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors, and in return, Andrew Wiggins, a bunch of pieces went back to Miami, and then reports came out. I'm just going to dive into the reports right from the jump. So, reports came out. The Miami Heat are finalizing a trade to send Jimmy Butler to Golden State, and for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick, sources told ESPN. So, it looked like it was a straight-up deal, but then Shams comes out and drops an absolute, I don't want to say another bombshell because it's less of a bombshell, but bombshell for the Toronto Raptors, because apparently Kyle Anderson got rerouted to Toronto as a part of a multi-team trade. Dennis Schroeder, obviously former Toronto Raptor, ended up getting sent out to Utah. So there's some madness. You're looking at that and you're saying, hey, okay, I got the jersey swapped done. We got Kyle Anderson coming in. The start of the trade deadline for the Toronto Raptors. And Slow-Mo is an interesting role player, an interesting piece, a vet out there in the NBA, a cool guy to have out there in the system, but is on an interesting contract, which we'll take a look at, because it seems as if Kyle Anderson will not be on the Toronto Raptors as of what's going on here now at this moment, but is on a 3-year deal, so it's going to be tough for a team to essentially acquire his money. So what's going on? What's happening? Because Shams, the most trusted, credible reporter, is saying that we're getting a guy that's coming to Toronto that's, averaging 5 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. For the Golden State Warriors, can kind of shoot threes, but not really. He's a decent percentage, but doesn't take a high volume. He's 31 years old. A guy that clearly seems like a player that would get absorbed into the Toronto Raptors trade, accepted, and keep this team under the tax. So, interesting stuff, interesting acquisition there. A lot of people speculate that this would be another move that the Toronto Raptors would make, another contract that this team could end up dealing away out here now at this point. But then that's where the stuff starts getting weird, starts getting crazy, because you look at the cap stuff and everything that's happened at this point. I'll bring up this report first. Essentially, per sources, Kyle Anderson is not coming to Toronto as a part of this deal. Things are fluid. So that's what Michael Grange ended up saying here after this. So we got Michael Grange out here. It's insane enough, because I see so many people coming out and roasting Michael Grange and stuff at this way. This man is big stepping Shams. He's out here stepping over Shams, the report, saying, hey, nah, you are wrong, Shams Charania. I know you're the league insider. I know you're that guy. But Michael Grange is saying, hey, this report that you're dropping here now at this point, Dennis Schroeder going to the Utah Jazz, Kyle Anderson headed to Toronto. Michael Grant just big stepping Shams now at this point and saying that he is not coming to Toronto. He is not coming to Toronto. So I recorded this, had this graphic done up, and said, hey, I'm probably trusting Shams on this. I see the comment section. I see all of you guys telling me not to look at Michael Grange, not to react to any of his reports, even though he has his ear tight to Masai Ujiri. And Masai Ujiri hates these guys like Shams and Woj and stuff. It's why these Raptors things. Chris Haynes got leaked wrong information about a Gary Trent Jr. extension. All these guys end up being late on most of the Toronto Raptors stuff, with the exception of the big type of moves. Well, they were wrong. Shams was wrong according to what's going on here now at this point. So essentially, I'll break down everything I've seen basically at this point. So Kyle Anderson going to Miami. Anderson will be going to Toronto, also coming from Jake Fisher. So Anderson makes 8.8 and this year and 9.2 next year. Fits in the Toronto Raptors to TPE and is spaced underneath the tax. Wonder what they got back as an asset in terms of a haul. And plenty of reps to absorb and reroute Anderson, potentially even turning this into a multiple proper TPE in the process. So Grange says that Anderson is heading elsewhere. So CBA stuff abound. So this is kind of what's going on. So Kyle Anderson, we all thought was coming to Toronto, and then doesn't seem like he's coming to Toronto. So it's getting hectic and all of that. And then Shams has to essentially retract what's going on, because at this point, we're looking at this saying, hey, Kyle Anderson is a dude that was traded to the Toronto Raptors, but then is likely going to get rerouted in another blockbuster trade. It's going to get sent out in a Brandon Ingram deal. It's going to get sent out in one of these types of trade packages. But so that's what this kind of Grange and Blake Murphy report sort of indicated. And then we had this. We had this drop from Shams right here, right now at this very moment. Let me see if I got the right graphic brought up. That's from this morning's video. Let's see where I have this screenshot. Yes. So Dennis Schroeder and the Utah Jazz, I already brought that up, but Miami is working through a resolution with Kyle Anderson. The Toronto portion fell through, sources said, so he could stay or could be moved. A massive deal with many moving parts. So the Toronto Raptors, I guess, agreed to this trade enough for it to actually get reported by, Shams Charania, who's one of the big insiders out there across the NBA. And then whether being fluted, whether him getting rerouted, whatever the heck it was, the Toronto portion of the deal fell through, according to the Shams Charania of ESPN. So I just paused this recording, had to scroll through Twitter, and Blake Murphy, everyone else is kind of confirming that this deal fell through. It's an extremely messy situation that's going on with the Toronto Raptors right now, but the Raptors are looking to be facilitators. They're looking to make moves, and of course, if you're trading these assets, if you're getting these guys, because Kyle Anderson is on a brutal contract, or not a brutal contract, but on a contract that would affect the flexibility of the Toronto Raptors moving forward. It would affect the taxes, affect a bunch of stuff out there at this point. Of course, he's not putting up numbers to warrant a 3-year, nearly double digits millions trade contract. So it's I guess it's confirmed that Kyle Anderson will not be coming to Toronto. He's not getting rerouted for a Brandon Ingram package or one of these types of deals. And assuming he was brought in and the situation being fluid, it gives an indication the Toronto Raptors are probably going to flip him elsewhere. So we'll see what happens out there at this point. And we can essentially write off Kyle Anderson as a Toronto Raptor. Probably the quickest, I think, in history was just made, folks. The quickest tenure in Toronto Raptors history. What was it, all of 3 seconds? Was it official? Was it not? We don't really know, but Kyle Anderson, as of right now, as of record, I'll drop another video. I'll get something else out. Is not coming to the Toronto Raptors. And the Raptors are trying to sneak their way into deals, are trying to sneak their way into moves, and try to accumulate draft assets. That seems like the type of deal that's going to go down if Brandon Ingram doesn't end up going down. If Brandon Ingram doesn't happen, I'm tried to record this at halftime, but I had to re-record it like twice because the details have completely just changed every time I record. So it's if more stuff happens, I mean, we'll keep you locked. We'll keep stuff going. I'm gonna do post game anyways, as I always do. But it seems like Masai Ujiri is very, very active right now. And Jake Fisher, I don't have the screenshots prepped. I tried to get this up ASAP, but basically Jake Fisher came out and said that the Toronto Raptors were favorites to essentially land Brandon Ingram, and by all indications Brandon Ingram is getting traded. So it's between the Toronto Raptors and the Atlanta Hawks right now for Brandon Ingram, and the Golden State Warriors were another team that were in the mix for Ingram. I'm sure all of you guys have been scrolling through Twitter every single day, or every single minute, every single day for the past couple days, but I don't know. I guess, does this mean we have Ingram? Does it mean we don't? It's unclear in terms of what's happening here now at this point, but I'm going to watch the end of this Grizzlies game. I'm pretty amped up about the Toronto Raptors playing. Had a good first half, but we'll see what ends up happening here now at this point. But folks, you guys are the best thing as far. I didn't ask at the beginning, but I rushed it. You're part of the 67%. You guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. But folks, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.